Hey MGTOWs, I'm out on a walk again. Got my $3 mosquito net on. People always wonder what that is. Keeps the mosquitoes off, full 360 protection without all that poisonous spray. I'm just going to make a quick video on where to live. You know, every MGTOW has his own opinion. I'm just going to state my opinion as a MGTOW. I'm not talking about your living situation or the city you live in. Little waterfall there. Or what city to live in. I'm talking about what kind of a physical structure do you choose to live in as a MGTOW? Well, first of all, it depends very much on what part of the country you live in. I live in Northwest Ohio, and around here it's really flat, and there's a high clay content to the soil. But I'll tell you what, if you live someplace where you have a lot of hills and a lot of, sandy area or something with a really, really good drainage, you don't want to live anywhere that you think might flood. Because we just had some torrential downpours here recently, and everything flooded. The water just laid on top of this clay soil we have around here. So it kind of makes it hard to have an underground house. I've always been a huge fan of underground houses. About 5 years ago, we had a tornado hit here. Before that, I'd never thought about it, and it's all of a sudden, it just, underground house. But it's really hard, because underground, you may be able to build like an earth berm house. You build a house usually out of block, and then you just you build that at basically ground level or even higher. You want to make sure you've got that drainage. And then you just proceed to push dirt or earth. People like it being called earth, a little better than dirt. But yeah, you push and berm earth around that structure. A few of the earth berm homes around here run at least 130 grand plus, which is when the taxes are through the roof. If you've got a good paying job, you can make that happen. It's still very economical, an underground house. It's going to save you on heating and all that. Oh, there's some people coming here on bikes. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Let them cruise by quick. But, yeah, very economical. You can save a lot of money in the long run living underground. Kind of hard around here. Here it has to be earth berm. But those are probably my favorite style homes, like those hobbit houses. Oh, I could eat that up with a spoon. I love that. But like I said, kind of flat around here. If I could, I might try to do something like that. But, well, a huge goddamn spider crawls on my sleeve. Man, I love it out here. Last video I had a worm on me. There's a gentleman here jogging. I'm busy today. I'm going to try to position it so I don't have to be on my silly YouTube channel. But yeah, try to do something like that if I could, but it can't really happen out here. Like I said, the ones that they do have are expensive and high taxes. You save a little bit on your utility bills. Protect you from the cold and all that. But I personally, after I found out that I couldn't really build an underground house. Is there someone else out here? Man alive, everybody's out here. After, I saw I couldn't really build an underground house, and earth berm houses around here are expensive. I suppose I could build an earth berm house, but you're talking a lot if I'm lugging all that dirt. But eventually I started to look into the tiny house. I developed a huge interest in tiny houses. I thought that makes perfect sense. There's a deer up there. Look at that. Man, it's wild out here. Look at that. That'll be the same deer I've been seeing. They run in circles, so I'll bump into them here, and then I'll walk on the other side, and then I'll bump into them again. But yes, tiny houses. I mean, you're a MGTOW, you're single. If you're lucky enough to be a MGTOW with no kids, like I am, makes perfect sense. You build these, you get these tiny houses. Even if you buy one, I mean, they seem expensive, and they are expensive, but I mean, you can get a super nice tiny house on wheels for like 40 grand. You know, and that you're just gonna just save money the whole time you own that tiny house. Okay, there's no properties, no taxes, because it's considered an RV. It's considered a recreational vehicle. So there's no actual property tax on it. And I think you just have it in oh, look at those deer out there. You just have it insured like an RV. I don't know how much that is. It's got to be less than insurance on a great big 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And they just are small. And if you're living in a situation you don't like where you're living, you just pick up and run. You can't do that with an underground house, that's for sure. You latch it up to your truck, or you borrow a buddy's truck or something, and you get it out of there. I mean, you could move all over the country in something like that. Every couple of years, or every couple of months, or whenever you want. And like I said, it's not an RV. It's a house. It's built exactly like a house. It's not a shed on wheels. Okay? It's a tiny house. You build it just like a house. Instead of building it on a foundation, you build it on top of that utility trailer. You can get a used trailer for 2 or 3 grand, but you can get a brand spanking new trailer for maybe 5 grand. Myself personally, I'd go for the new. You can do whatever you like. But yeah, as a MGTOW, no wife, no kids. You know, you don't have to be gone constantly paying for some big house and struggling to keep ahead of the house payment. And like I said too, you know, you can get them cheaper than 40 grand buying them, but you can build your own. Yeah, I mean, it might be kind of hard if you live in an apartment or something, but if you're renting or living with family, I mean, you can just park the trailer in the yard or the driveway and just build it in your spare time. You could probably knock the thing out in a year and have your own house. There's so many videos on there of people building tiny houses. I just almost fell down out here. But yeah, if you're MGTOW, try to find ways to live efficiently and sufficiently. Okay, you don't need a 2,000 square foot or 3,000 plus square foot house. Just ridiculous for one person. I mean, you can only be in one room at a time. You're throwing your money away. Unless you make big money. I mean, if you're somebody and you make 6 figures a year, I mean, you probably think I'm crazy. Like, I can't live in a tiny house. There's so many different models. There's so many different models. They're light and airy. They have huge glass doors. You know, it's not claustrophobic. I mean, how could it be claustrophobic? The door's 2 steps away. How can that be claustrophobic? How big of a bathroom do you need? How big of a bedroom do you need? I mean, what are you doing in there? You're sleeping. How can you enjoy your house when you're sleeping? I don't really know what girls would think of it. I wouldn't even worry about that. You know, just get your tiny house, and it's tiny. I mean, you can make them as tiny as you want. There's little small ones like 80 square feet, and then there's bigger ones, you know, 150 square feet. Some of them are bigger. They build them on these huge trailers. I mean, you can build a big tiny house. So many different models. If you're not a hoarder or something, time to get rid of all that stuff. All that stuff from when you were a kid. You know, either store it at a family's house or just throw it in storage. I think get like a storage unit for $50 a month, if it's that important to you. But if you got stuff, toys and that are worth some money, open up an eBay account and slap that stuff on there. You keep it around, it's just going to end up, the house is going to burn down, it's going to go with it, or somebody's going to break in and steal it all. But, and there are ways to prevent your tiny house from getting stolen. This one guy I saw on there built it on a trailer with a removable hitch. There's tons of ways to secure that tiny house. a good old-fashioned security camera. But yeah, this is Arctis Bushjord. Telling you, if you don't know where to go, just go MGTOW and consider a tiny house. I think they're pretty rad. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe.